back to Graceful Living. Today we are doing something a little different. We are doing our question and answer. So I got about 2 pages of questions, and I'm so excited and thankful that you took part in this. I have my husband with me today. His name is Ron, or I call him Babe, or Ronnie Krantz. We are going to just kind of go through the list. I did try to categorize them into different topics. Now, I will let you know if you hear any little snorting, Millicent is in the room and she is snorting around. So, if you hear a weird noise, it's probably Millicent. Okay. And I also want to kind of put a disclaimer out there that we are just answering questions that were given to us. We are not pros at any of this. I think the Lord has blessed us with our family, our boys, and things that we do. And without Him, we would not have what we do by any stretch of the imagination. So I am very grateful to Him and all of the goodness that He has shown us through the years, through our boys, in our home life. And so we're going to get started with our marriage. We were asked, how long have we been married? And that has been 28 years. And for me, it's been happy. Hopefully for him, it has been. And where did we meet? We met at my church. Our pastor had called him and asked him to come in and consider being the youth pastor there. And so he did. Then we met 30 years ago, actually, and worked together for 2 years there. He did a lot with the youth and many other things. So that is that. And then our next question, I'm going to go ahead and let him answer first, was what is your advice on marriage to a couple just starting out? Baby?
Okay, I'm going to boil it down to 2. First is respect for your spouse. You got to respect them as a unique soul before God. They are special and unique, and you have to respect them as that. And then affection. And you never go wrong being affectionate, kind, affectionate with your words and with your deeds, and being thoughtful about that. I would say those 2 are a pretty good start for a good recipe.
Yes, definitely. And he is very, very, very respectful of me, very affectionate to me, loving to me, and that's okay with me. I enjoy that. I had down, he has said it for many years, and I think I had mentioned this in my decorating video. He talks about don't judge your chapter 1 by somebody else's chapter 20, and I think that is so true, because as newly marrieds we tend to look at someone that has more than we do. I think that's just normal, especially we as women tend to do that with our homes and stuff like that, and I say stay away from that because it just puts so much added pressure on a marriage. And then be willing to change. Don't expect your spouse to change. You be willing to change so that you can enhance your marriage. They asked what you did for a living.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a chaplain, and I'm a chaplain for a prison system and a chaplain in the Army. And the chaplain is kind of like a pastor. We do everything a pastor would do with services and counseling, but we also do other things. We work, there's a lot of law involved in our job. And we get to work with psychologists, social workers, in terms of a program design, and helping people with unique and special needs.
And I know I am his wife, but he is an amazing chaplain, and his soldiers love him and appreciate him. He does a lot outside of just being in the field, and so I'm very thankful for the man that he is. Very grateful for him. They asked for me if I have worked outside the home. I have not worked outside the home for the last 24 years, and I'm very, very thankful for that. It has not always been easy. We have had some ups and downs financially because of it, but we had just chosen really early on that we were going to sacrifice financially in order for me to be home with our children. And I know that that is very hard, and it's not for everybody, but it was definitely something that we wanted to bring into our family unit, and it has worked.
Yeah, let me just add, part of that is, mom had to be willing to accept that role, and I had to be willing to do more than a job, right? I had to work sometimes a couple of jobs. I had to be willing to hustle to augment. It was just, we were willing to accept those roles and work hard in them to create what we felt was best for our family. So it took a lot of flexibility
Definitely.
and a lot of selflessness. We had to be willing to sacrifice some things to get
Yes.
at that point in time what we wanted.
And I think that is where a lot of times not judging your chapter 1 by somebody else's chapter 20, because we probably stayed in chapter 1 a little bit longer because we did choose, for me, to quit my job. I wasn't making as much money as he was at the time. I had worked for our county's mental health system, but I was making a good amount.
I think any sacrifices in one thing, though, means you can enrich something
Yes,
else.
definitely.
And so we may have had a chapter 1 financially, or chapter 2, 3, maybe longer, but in terms of marriage and our children, and we felt like giving in that area really gave us something later.
Yes, I do think so. What is your encouragement, and what do you build off to get your outlook on life? Maybe.
Okay, so I try to start my day in prayer and the scriptures, and I am very intentional about that, and then end my day with the thoughts and ideas, good books, great people, leading people. So I try to book in my day that way to be healthy and active in my mind. And then I live a real contemplative life. I spend a lot of times in prayer and meditation and reflection. So that's probably how I am able to stay in the game, a game type thing.
And I think that's kind of been something that he's helped to instill in our family in general. We've always tried to even teach the boys that devotions come first. We did homeschool our boys, and I'll kind of get into that story later, but that was one of our morning routines. We did that every morning for 30 minutes without fail, and I wanted that to be the first thing in their life in the morning. I do my devotions in the office, and I've done different things since I've done strictly devotional books, and right now I am mainly focused on getting online and finding a devotion on what I feel I need for the day. So if I am just having a hard time with the boys, or the normal kind of issues that we as women face, if I'm not liking myself that day specifically, I will type that in my search bar and I will read several different devotions. Let's see. Do you have a favorite Bible translation? Mine would be NIV. I really like that because I feel like it's just broken down a little bit better for me to understand.
So if I'm pleasure reading, I read the Christian Standard Bible just to read and enjoy the scriptures themselves. If I'm studying, doing any kind of serious study, I do King James Version. I default to that. And then if I'm speaking somewhere, I try to use the version that the host use, so that if I'm reading, it's just kind of common to the people who are listening to me. So those, I think I probably enjoy all of them. They are all the word of the Lord to us. And so I like it all, but those three I use the most.
The next one was a Bible study and how we incorporate that here at home with our family, individually, and our children. I think individually we kind of answered, but as a family, do you want to talk about what we
do? We try to do family church once a week. We've tried to really make a habit, a pattern of that, where we meet and sing and read the scriptures and have Bible discussions. So that's been very important to us. The children, we try to get them to read their scriptures and incentivize them reading the Bible. So they've read the Bible through now several times, and so we've just made it a part of our lives. We just did. I think I saw down here something about family prayer, and that's just our lifestyle, right? We believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and we try to align our lives with that, in prayer and Bible reading are a big part of it. So we just did.
Yeah, we've done it every day,
mm-hmm.
and we've tried to really make, like I said before, that something that the boys start out with in the morning, first thing, so that they know that the Lord comes first in our home, and then it is something that we do each night. We do family prayer together, and it doesn't matter where we are at, which that is very important to me. And so even when he's been outside the home, we always come together at the end of the night. Okay, so favorite authors, you want to answer?
Yeah. So I don't have any. Yeah, I read pretty ferociously. I do have the luxury of having associations and some like alumni associations and journals. So I read more topically, probably subjects. I really do love history. I read a lot of history, but authors, not so much. Just man, I just love books, and so I just stay in the book. Sorry, babe. Not much of an answer there.
No, but he does. He loves his books. Even when we go on vacation, that is one of the things that he wants to take with him is his books. And that's just been part of our life as well. I forgot to answer the children's Bible study or devotion time. We were asked specifically which ones we've used in the past. And when the boys were really little, once they were able to participate, I got a hold of a trivia book at our local Bible bookstore. It asked questions through every book of the Bible. So that's the first time that I was able to walk the boys through the Bible is through that little trivia book, and it would just ask all kinds of questions. Then we moved on to just little different devotionals. We tried many. Some of them worked, and I'm going to be honest, some of them didn't. We didn't really like them. But one that I used was written by Sister Kim Haney, and it's Seeds of Jochebed. And that is a great devotional. I think I started using that one. Jeremiah was 7 or 8. Josiah would have been 11 or 12. And it was perfect for that age group. I can try and link that down below in the description box for you, but that is a great devotional. And I would have had it here with me today, but I've actually lent it out once again to a mom who's asked about it. It has been in many homes, and I think everyone that has used it has really enjoyed it. So I would definitely suggest that one. And as far as my authors, my top one would probably be Jane Austen and Jeanette Oak. I love the Mennonite and Amish community. I always have, and so Jeanette Oak touches on their community. As far as self-help and things like that, I really love Sister Gayla Boffman. Sister Kim Haney and Joy Haney have put out wonderful books. I wish, again, I could have those books in front of me, but every one of those have been lent out. I don't have them with me, but I can put them in the links again in the description box. And more that I would suggest, and this is probably kind of, I don't know, I'm not trying to cross any lines or step on anybody's toes, but this is one of my favorite books as a wife has been The Proper Care and Feedings of Husband. It is a very hard book to read because it makes you feel like it is putting everything on the wife, but I guarantee it helps you become a better wife. And so I highly suggest that one. It's by Dr. Laura Schlesinger. I think that's how you say her last name. Family vacations. Baby, you want to touch on that first?
Yeah, so that destination is generally my wife's doing, and she really likes Disneyland, and so somehow we always wind up going there for any serious vacation. Small trips to the coast are great. I understand that the 11 most beautiful libraries in the world are in Europe, so obviously that's on my list. But in the meantime, we will probably go to Disneyland again.
We have been overseas. We've been to Spain and Portugal and Germany and things like that. But I am a true Disney fan. I love Disneyland. That is my absolute favorite vacation. I love staying there. I love being at the parks for the week. What's that say? I can't see it. What's it say?
I work so she can go to Disneyland.
Yeah, pretty much. She works so I can go to Disneyland. What do we do to relax? I go to Disneyland.
There it is. Absolutely.
I'm thankful I have friends that love Disneyland just as much as I do, so we do go there on a normal basis.
Girls
quite
trip.
A bit. We do a lot of girls trips down to Disneyland.
Girls trip, road trip. That's not my relaxation. at all. So I do read a lot. The contemplative life is for me. I work outside, try to, get rough and dirty every once in a while. I do PT, like really helps me with my endorphins and manage my stress. So those are some of the things I do to relax. Do read, draw. We like to do art, arts and crafts.
We do a lot of arts and crafts together, even as a family. Mm-hmm. We have a large kitchen island that we'll all kind of sit around and do our own things. The boys are really good in art and things like that. And we like to create. I love to just kind of make things for around the house. I love doing DIY, like little home decor. We both love to be outdoors, working on the yard. I think my favorite way to relax is just getting up, getting my housework done, getting my yard work done for the day, and then calling it good. That's when my mind can actually relax, is when I feel like everything is in its place and everything is clean. And that's my...
I like, if I could get my family to do it, I like some of the really great documentaries out on the Bible, lands of the Bible, lands of history. Albert Lind is a great, he's like a chemist or physicist. He does some really cool technology and archaeology stuff. So I will watch those kind of learning videos.
They're actually kind of neat because he does bring those into our family Bible study time a lot, which honestly I think that is one of the things that I really enjoy, because he will take us into the city that he's, talking about, and show us around. And there's so much to use on YouTube regarding that nowadays. And it really does help to see exactly what they were doing, where they were doing. It's cool. A nice added thing. Our next one is children. Again, I just want to put out there, we do not think our children are perfect, and we are definitely not perfect parents. But these are just questions that we have been asked, and this is what we did as our family unit. We did homeschool. We did not intend to do that. We had to move away. We actually pastored a church for a few years, and we were about 6 hours away from where we are now. And the schools there just were not good as far as we were concerned. We did not like them. Let's just say that. We did not like them. And so we had to make a decision on what to do, because Jeremiah, our youngest, was going to be starting kindergarten the very next year, and we were already having a hard time sending Josiah to school that year. So the next thing was to homeschool, and we did just go through a local charter school, which I absolutely loved, because we knew that they were going to be taking care of our curriculum. Anyways, it is something I think, and I think you feel the same way, that next to living for God and having, He be the focus in our home, homeschooling has been one of the best things that we ever did for our boys. It worked for our family very, very well. Josiah is now in a doctorate program. He just finished his master's in psychology, and he will be finishing up his doctorate. Jeremiah is going into animation, and so they're both doing very well in college, and we're very thankful for the education that they received from homeschooling. Do you want to add anything to that?
I think it worked because we worked hard to make it work.
We did work very hard. Yes.
We Dina had a lot of a regimen, and there was a lot of academic rigor in every sense of the word. We exposed them to science, STEM, engineering, mathematics. They had to work every day, a school day. We set up a place for them in the house, so it was not hodgepodge. It wasn't, hey kids, you won't feel like working today. It was, that was their job. They understood that was their job and how they contributed to the house. And so it worked because we made it work, and we're very intentional about it. Yeah, there was a lot of brain science and psychology too, psychology of learning. I mean, you got to condition. There's some conditioning. There's socialization is not they get to play on the playground with kids. socialization is they stand in line, they show up on time, they tell the truth, they have their stuff ready. So there was a lot of pieces of that we want to make sure that the children had experienced in, and they grew accustomed to that.
Well,
Cleaning up after themselves and all of those pieces, right? So that educational experience wasn't just they were reading, writing, and arithmetic, but they were learning how to be functional people, and so it was a big piece of that.
Right, and the school did offer many different classes for each age group, and it also offered over 30 different field trips a month. They were on top of it, so the boys never lacked in a place to go or something to do with other children their age. It was really an amazing setup. One of our questions too was, how do you tame a 3-year-old and their dog? Honestly, I think a lot of it is just structure. And I know that doesn't work for everyone because people work outside the home, but I do think structure is a huge key in life. You have to stick to it, but it just makes your day flow so much easier, in my opinion.
Sure. And there's something about predictability, because there was also structured time for the children to just go play.
Right.
And they could,
definitely,
they had time to do their thing and be where they wanted to be. And it was just always that way. We didn't, we didn't want to, something a 2-year-old does might be cute at 2. It's horrible at 12. Right. That's so funny at 3. That's horrible at 13.
And we always kept that in mind.
Yeah, sure. So we respected them as people growing up, and we just wanted to create a conditions and circumstances that help them to grow up and learn to be social and interactive and healthy and productive, and they had time to play, and that was important, but they also needed to learn it's time to clean up. Cleanliness is important too, and so conditioning was just super helpful to us to avoid some of these really unfortunate and difficult situations.
Well, and even some of their playtime, like, of course they had playtime where they got to do whatever they wanted.
But
they were little, they were inside, they were outside, and they were boys. But there was one thing in particular, well, actually two, that we structured a lot. They were allowed to be on their game system once they got old enough to want to do that. 30 minutes after 11 and 30 minutes after 4. In the beginning, we started it with a timer, I think on the microwave. And screen time. We still do not have a television in the home, and we've never had a television in the home, but we had Disney movies, and so they got 2 hours screen time, and that was it.
And it paid off in the end. I remember we would get calls, "Hey, Mom, can we watch or can we play 5 more minutes or something?" Yeah. And they're like teenagers.
Yeah,
and
they
they're
were
still
like
calling, "Hey,
13,
Dad."
15 years old, and we were at Walmart, and we're right in the middle of the level. Can we go over our 30 minutes?
They were negotiating. I mean, we tried to teach them how to negotiate, right? And use their words so they would call.
Again, they weren't perfect, but
they tried hard.
They tried really hard, and they listened to what we asked of them. We did tell them really early on that we knew they were children.
Sure.
And we didn't expect everything out of them. The one thing, once they got in school, and even at 5, we did tell them, we do expect you to put your all into school and do your absolute best. How do you leave for work when your child is throwing a fit? I hate saying this sometimes, but our children never threw a fit, and I don't know how we were blessed in that, but they never threw a fit, so I never had to deal with that. Again, I don't know. I think it was just they knew. No, we did use this, especially during church. We would take them out the back door and say, "Hey, we don't act like that. We are Crances, and we don't behave like that. You're going to go back in there. You're going to be quiet." And they could play underneath the pew, but if they got too loud, they needed to know, no, you're not disrupting what's going on in the church house. What are some specific things you did when your children were younger to make them feel special? Start.
Oh, we did, special plates. We did birthday hats.
My birthday hat means we would make a hat that week.
The big old hat.
Yeah, and we made it
Yeah.
like this grandiose hat.
Yeah.
And it was something that they wore to breakfast.
Right.
They got to pick where they wanted to go to breakfast
Yeah.
on their birthday morning, and they wore their birthday hat until, I don't know what age they were, but it was a while. It was a while.
We tried to celebrate their successes, just celebrate them as people. Anything they did, we tried to celebrate them. We respected them as people. They were gifts of God, and so we tried to treat them that way, talk to them that way. We let them use their voice. If they didn't feel something was right, they could say it, and we would talk it out.
We've actually really encouraged them
Yeah.
to do that. We've told them, let us know, be vocal,
Sure.
tell us what you're feeling, because we wanted them to be open with us.
Mm-hmm. And we would talk about whatever they wanted to talk about, and we didn't try to hide behind because we're the parents. That was, to me, that's such a cop out. So we wanted to try to, answer their questions because they were invested in. So we tried to dignify them. They're humans. They're gifts from God. We needed to treat them that way. So we did that.
When we asked them, one of them said, we were just always very encouraging and supportive about all that they were interested in. Our oldest said, we did a lot. That was what we got out of it. Let's see. How old are they? Josiah is 24 and Jeremiah is 20. And, random questions. What are some of the steps you take to ensure that you get to know your neighbors better? Mine is I baked bread right away. Anytime I would go, and if it was just me, I would make sure to remember their names, come home, and we made a list of their address or where their house was at and what the names were to the people that lived at that address, so that all of us as family members, when we'd go outside, we'd know across the street was so-and-so and so-and-so. Across the street, 2 doors down is so-and-so and so-and-so. So that's what we did initially. And then, what do you say?
No, we just do. You just, know people, meet people, lend them your ladder, or play ping pong, or swing the golf clubs. We just,
we have
build relationships.
Really good neighbors. We love our neighbors. We all talk about different recipes and stuff like that. So it just brings us together that way. We did have a block wall then, and so all of our yards were open up at one point, and so we really got to know each other that way. So tear down your fences, that'll help. All right, everyone, I know this video went a little bit longer than even we had anticipated, but we are so thankful for all the questions that came in. And I know that I didn't get to each and every one, but I will definitely be making another video, a part 2, to upload in the near future. Now, if you are new, I would love for you to subscribe and join my channel. I hope that each and every one of you have a wonderful rest of the week. Stay safe, be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.